Alright, this is how to get all the flesh out of a mango, and this is kind of a frugal approach because mangoes are tasty, and a lot of the techniques I've seen demonstrated in the past don't really get all of the flesh, or at least not enough to please me. To do this, actually this mango might be too ripe for this demo, but it should be alright. Need a mango, of course. I use two knives. You could easily use one. This knife is just for sort of the initial slice around. In fact, I might not use it in this demo. And then, much more important to the effort is a knife with a flexible blade, because the pit is kind of oval, and we're going to use that blade to go around the oval and get as close as we can to it. Alright, in fact, yeah, that's right. I think I'll just put this rigid bladed knife aside and strictly use just this one. So, starting from the stem and picturing sort of a meridian all the way around on the long edge. And the pit of the mango is not, as I said before, it's not circular, it's oval. So we're going around the long edge of the oval rather than the short edge. So starting here, and I can feel that it's close to the surface here because that's where it's at its widest, and just coming right back around to my initial cut. And now I'm feeling for the pit, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, the blade is actually bending it. I'm bending the blade, trying to hold it as close as I can to the pit. And actually, as I'm going along and thinking about it, I realize even that the initial cut was probably unnecessary because it's redundant in this case. And having done that, ooh, that's a shitty mango, isn't it? But you can see I got very close to the pit there. And now this gets a little trickier because my nice handhold has now been cut away, so it's a little trickier. Hopefully we don't end up with any spurting arterial wounds. But the same technique, going around the other side, and again holding it, bending the knife, holding it as close as possible to the pit. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting demo. So now I can kind of just go around the edge of the pit, and the edge, the part that I didn't cut first, is taken off now. And that is pretty much a well-trimmed pit. I would usually nosh on that, except this one's so skanky. I'm going to toss it. Yeah, it doesn't even... Sometimes even when they look bad, they smell great. This one doesn't even smell good. So now what I'm doing, here's where the rigid bladed knife comes in. I will cut long sections, and the flexible bladed knife is coming back into service in a moment. And these long sections are then going to be basically filleted almost like a fish when you skin a fish with a fillet knife. And again, relying on the flexibility of the blade. So here now, I lay these pieces on the cutting board, and I'm flexing the knife a little bit to, in the process of applying pressure, but I'm also tipping it up. I mean, I'm exaggerating it here wildly, but I'm tipping it up a little bit. So I'm flexing the blade, but it's just a little bit tipped up. So it's basically going to be surfing along on the back edge, and I'm going to be tipping it. I'm going to be tipping the knife as the knife is riding along. It's going to be riding on the back edge, and I'm going to be tipping it to try and keep the front edge, the cutting edge, just above the skin, because I don't want to take any skin with me, but I want to take as much flesh as possible. So, and on a mango that isn't desperately overripe like this, the skin is actually helping you in that respect because it resists a little bit, and you're sort of shaving the mango off of the skin. So now I have a full piece of mango pulled off of the skin, and if this were anything but nastiness, I would go ahead and eat it. But for the sake of this demo, I'm not gonna. So that's basically it. So we would repeat that process for the entire rest of the mango, and we will not be doing that thing that all the shishi TV show chefs do, which is basically, you know, take a piece and cross hatch and then somehow, you know, fold it back and hope that they all break off nicely, because in this case that won't work. At least that's not a frugal way to do it. That leaves a lot of flesh still on the skin. Okay,